What's good in the light game, man? Hey, y'all been telling me Eminem dropped part 1, the Kamikaze interview with Sway yesterday, man. He dropped part 2 tonight at 8. So we gotta check out part 1, man. See what he talking about. Everybody wanted to hear what Eminem had to say since the MGK diss track. Everybody wanted to know what he been up to, what he been doing. So that's probably what he's doing in these interviews. I have no clue. I haven't watched not 1 second of this shit. I got 1 million people sending it to me though, so we're gonna check it out together. Let's get it.
Y'all ready to be history?
I'm not gonna edit this shit, so hopefully it don't get copyrighted.
All right, hey, there we go.
We're out of here.
All right, there you go, that's it.
Sway, so before we get started, will you please sign this for me?
Oh, shit, damn, wow. Wow.
What is that?
Look at how, yo, you look like a kid. You're a kid there.
Damn, man, I was a baby, bro.
Crazy.
That's our teenage years. Y'all didn't know I had bars once upon a time, huh? Man, you want me to say Marshall? You want me to say?
Yes, please.
Okay. That's M-A-R.
My man's got the beard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. Look
Hell
at that,
yeah,
man.
man.
I signed a vinyl for him, man. Look at that, man. Look at
Incredible.
Look
Yo,
at that
man, your signature's so much better than mine. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Man, you threw me off with that.
Fucked up your whole shit.
Not really. Just impressed that you done.
He's talking not really,
man. I didn't know you.
I'm always digging in the crates.
That's good to know, man.
Hey, I'm always digging. I'm always, bro. Come on.
That's good to know. If you want to use any lyrics from any of those songs on that vinyl, bro.
Well, I was gonna ask you when the cameras are off. There's a couple bars that I wish I could have.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Go ahead, man. What's mine is yours, man. If it make your shit
These
tighter.
niggas right here crazy.
Let's speak on bars, though. Here we are. Kamikaze came out. You know, you shocked the world the way you did it. What made you do it? I mean, a Revival came out December 2017. That wasn't that long ago. It's less than a year. What made you just drop it on the world the way you did?
Because I feel like the way the climate is right now, if you give people enough time to, I got an album coming out in 2 months. You give people time to say, man, he better have a song like this or I ain't fucking with it. If he don't have a song like this, I ain't fucking with it.
Yeah.
Before he say what he gotta say, he's completely right. I already know what he about to say. I knew what he was about to say before he even said it. He's right though. If you give people a date on something, they gonna put their certain expectations on it. So with him just dropping it randomly, he didn't give people time or a chance to do that. Come on, man, it's genius, bro. It's genius.
Enough time to, I got an album coming out in 2 months. You give people time to say, man, he better have a song like this or I ain't fucking with it. If he don't have a song like this, I ain't fucking with it.
Yeah. He
better not be rapping like this. He better not be rapping about this or I'm not gonna fuck with it. And when you go into an album, you can go into anything with the mindset of this is gonna suck. And then even if you kind of don't feel that way, you're already kind of formed your opinion in front of all your friends, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like giving them no warning was the best thing to do, just because it doesn't give people enough time to, you know, when the Revival track list came down the pipe.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was like, overwhelmingly, this shit is gonna be trash.
Yeah.
And
that was before
nobody really wanted to be wrong about it.
Yeah.
Facts.
They had already formed, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people had already, you know, formed their opinions. So.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like, Revival really ran through the ringer, so to speak, before it even got off the ground. But, you know, this is that day and age. You know, it's different now, right?
Yeah.
You know, how have you adjusted to that? Like, before, which is what I find interesting about you, before you spent your whole career.
You could tell that hurt him. That as a Revival album, you could tell that hurt him, that a lot of people didn't like it. Cause it did his numbers. It did his numbers. Like, he always get his numbers. But you could tell that hurt him that his album didn't do. His album wasn't what people wanted. You could tell it hurt him to say that.
We're being critiqued and criticized by organizations like LGBTQ community or college campuses or police departments, you know, but hip hop always stood by you. So that was, you know, that's where you found your refuge. But now it came from inside of hip hop. You know, how did that affect you?
Me sitting back and seeing things that I saw, it was kind of like, I felt a bunch of different ways. I felt like, okay, maybe because it doesn't sound like everything else, and what most people are doing, maybe that was what tainted their ear. Because I remember a time in hip hop where you had to be so different from the next person or you were trash.
Facts.
There's a shift somewhere that happened that if it doesn't sound like everything else, then it's trash automatically.
Yeah.
And I just said back.
Yo, I never thought about that like that. I never sat down and thought about that. It's like we know that now, but to actually sit down and think of that and come up with that conclusion, that's crazy. Because he right. He said back then, you had to have your own sound. You had to be in your own lane. You couldn't sound, talk, act like nobody in order to make it. But he said sometime along the way, shit switched up out the blue. Where it's the complete opposite. If it don't sound exactly like this, or if it don't give you this feeling, if it don't give you this, you can't dance to it that way, it's trash. That's crazy. I never thought about that, man.
Back like, okay, all right, I can take that. It's not like I can't take constructive criticism, but I feel like it kind of went beyond constructive criticism. So I had to go back to it and look, I have made albums that definitely probably would not be the top of my list. Encore.
Okay.
Relapse, which I believe Encore is a better album than Relapse. Relapse is something that I looked at in a couple of years, went back to and cringed at. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I didn't even realize I was doing that many accents. I just started, for whatever reason, I just got into it and was just like, started on this.
It was a different day and time, man. Like you just said, rap was different back then. So at the time, that stuff you was doing was like popping. It was relevant. That was the wave. Come on, man. It's all about timing, man. With this rap shit, it's all about timing.
Weird serial killer vibe kind of thing.
Yeah.
And started wanting to talk crazy and started bending words more. And the only way you can bend them is with this accent, trying to use this one. And a couple years later, in making Recovery and slipping out of that, getting out of the accents and beyond it, made Recovery. Yeah. And I always say that if it wasn't for Relapse, I wouldn't have been able to make Recovery. And if it wasn't for Revival, I wouldn't have been able to make this album. So I'm good with it. It just, some people more than others went a little far with it.
A little far with it. I want to get into that too. And I almost, when I listen to Kamikaze and I hear some people say, man, that's the vintage M we wanted. We wanted Shady back, right? And when I listen to it, man, I have to admit, man, I hear something in you on this album that kind of made me rejoice in a way I've done in the past. I like the fact that you're not running from the criticism. I like the fact that in this digital age, you're not, cowering and reforming to what people think you should sound like or how people think you should act, and you're calling it out. And I actually like some of these review shows that you see on YouTube, and they take people's music and they have fun with it. I look at these kids, and I see us when we were young. I see myself when I was younger before YouTube, and we'll go through a G-Rap album and oh, this was dope, that was dope.
Yeah.
A Far Side album, this was dope.
Yeah.
They just kind of doing that, right? And you address them. So you're that in tuned, like in the beginning of the Ringer when you talk about.
Yo, Sway watch No Life Sack, man. He just said it. Sway watches my show. I was just trolling, man.
If you critique me, you know, you can make millions. If I critique you, there's nothing I really.
Yeah, it gets into the territory where it's like you got, okay, so since the internet has become what the internet's become, and since YouTube and all that, you've got so many, how can I say this? It's almost like not enough Indians, too many chiefs. So it's like everybody on the internet, and in hip hop especially, it seems like either a rapper, a DJ, a writer, a producer, has something to do with it. And I love the fact that so many people now have been able to get on easier than it was for me or you back in the day, because we didn't have this platform. So I appreciate the platform. It's just that now you've got people that not only are doing the same thing and they can do it better, but you've got people who don't do anything and are just critiquing it. So I sat back and I'm like, okay, that's fine. People can talk crazy about me. That's fine. They should express themselves, and they have a right to. But I also get to say whatever the fuck I want about you now. I'm, like I said,
motherfucking guy, man. Hey, let them know, ill. Let them know. Hey, you critique me, I'ma critique you. Hey, it is what it is. Dog eat dog world, man. Straight like that.
I'm good with Revival. Fuck it. Because I couldn't have made this album without that.
Yeah.
And there is something, I'm not gonna lie, there is something inside me that is a little
pissed off,
more happy when I'm angry. It's like, as much as as bad as it feels to be there, there's also something about it, there's a rush of it that I like, because it inspires me to
bring that hunger out, baby. Yes, sir.
You get in that weird area too, where it's like, oh, he says he doesn't care about what anybody thinks about him, but now he cares about what everybody thinks about him. No, he's just saying he don't care. He'll say anything he wants about you if you say it about him, because he doesn't care. Like, there's so many different levels to not caring about shit. You know what I'm saying? But it was interesting. It was definitely interesting, because I'm like, how fucking off is my ear?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Like, and then it was interesting to watch the reaction of the Chloroseptic remix verse that I did.
Yeah, with 2 Chainz, and you put that out in
January. That shit was fire.
You touched on, you
that
guys formed your opinion just from a track.
And that's where I was at.
Yeah.
At that point in time, that's definitely where I was at. But I watched people going, oh, why wasn't this on Revival? Honestly, what if I said it was on Revival? You won't know, because you didn't listen probably.
Exactly.
But I kind of felt like, okay, I guess this is what people might want. Because I'm always stuck in that, what the fuck do people want? Like you were saying, that the OM is back.
We want bars, baby.
He's too old to be the OM. He can't do, like, no matter what, when I zigged, I should have zagged. No matter what, you got half and half every fucking single time.
You kind of say that, you allude to it in one of the songs where you said that you set the bar so high that, you know, at this point, you know,
saying this is a failure.
Considered a failure. Like,
Facts.
you're almost competing with yourself.
Yeah.
And you touch on it a lot in every song. Well, not every.
That's how you know you're the fucking GOAT, man. Look at LeBron James. LeBron James competing with himself in the NBA right now. LeBron James set the level so high that when he don't exceed that same expectation or greater, like, everybody look at it like he had a bad season, when this nigga really averaged 30 and 10 and 10 every game. But since he didn't average 35, 10 and 10, niggas be like, oh, he falling off. What? That's the same shit with Eminem. He's competing with himself. He set the bar so high early that anything below that it's considered a failure, even though it's still rewards lower than what he achieved before. Come on, man.
Songs,
don't make no
majority of
sense.
songs you touch on it, I appreciate. But I have to, like, the Joe Budden thing is really interesting because that, along with MGK, of course, is making a lot of noise out there. And it throws a lot of folks off when Joe...
hey, y'all saw how he lifted his head up after he said MGK? Uh-oh. Hold up.
Out there. And it throws a lot of folks off when Joe first started commenting.
He gonna kill MGK.
It was mixed reactions. Some people said it was disloyal. Some people said, man, he's entitled to his opinion. I would assume that obviously it got under your skin, considering the relationship you've had with him with Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
How do you describe your relationship with Joe Budden? You went in on MGK. You guys had a discrepancy.
You know, you go down the fucking wormhole of YouTube and whatever, right? So I see Machine Gun Kelly talks about Eminem's daughter, whatever, right? So what the fuck? Click on it. Like, yo, why is he? Then he starts doing a press run, basically, about Haley. I'm like, what the fuck? Yo, my man better chill, right? So that's not why I dissed him. The reason I dissed him is actually a lot more petty than that. Now I'm in this fucking weird thing because I'm like, I gotta answer this motherfucker.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And he cursed with it, so he meant it. I gotta answer this mother... Where I'm off that, man. Hey, part 2 coming tonight, man. I knew they was gonna cliffhang my ass. I knew it. I knew they was gonna leave me hanging like that. But part 2 tonight, man. I'll drop that reaction tomorrow. I'm about to drop 3 reactions for y'all right now. Hey, I will leave it here for y'all to comment on, man. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about that, man. Let's get it.